is from the 14th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus walks on the water, beginning with verse 22. Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. But by this time the boat, battered by the waves, was far from them. And early in the morning he came walking toward them on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" When they got back into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." May the written word become a living word in our daily life. The disciples are out in their boat. They're doing the very best they're able to do, just keeping it afloat. They're rowing literally against the wind, and the storms are battering them. Imagine you and I in that boat. It's as if we're overwhelmed by all of life. And I know what it's like to be overwhelmed by all of life. We all know the stresses. We don't need to recount them all. The economy is in shambles. The day-to-day schedule can drive you crazy. Our own health care, our own health can worry us until we are a little bit an empty shell. And paying bills with little money at times seems to be a chief worry in so many of our lives. And I want to know, in the midst of that storm, Jesus, can I balance it all? And there he is. There he comes, walking on the water in the middle of the night, in the midst of the trials and the tribulations of the disciples. And the point is that Jesus not only walks on the water, but he comes out to us in the midst of our storms, whether we notice him or not, and the disciples notice him. When we are overwhelmed with the stress of daily living, Jesus walks out to us, not only walks by the side of the lake, but walks on water to us. And I need to know that he isn't overwhelmed by all of creation and all the tribulation. And he not only walks out into the water, but he asks us, come out and walk on the water with us. He even extends a hand to Simon Peter and says, "Come." And Simon Peter has that initial confidence. He has that sureness. But the trouble is, I think he stops and hesitates and looks just at the water around him and how deep it is in the swirling whirlpools, and he starts to sink. I know that feeling, because if I think too much about worry, it becomes a many-layered thing in my own life, and I start to drown in my own worry, almost incapacitating myself. But not only does Peter get overwhelmed and start to sink, at the same time that hand goes out. The hand of Jesus goes out and pulls him up. Even as he's calling out, "Kyrie eleison," "Lord help me, Lord have mercy on me," Jesus pulls him out of the drink of drowning. I need to know that when the storms come, and they come every day of our life, and it feels as if I'm rowing against the wind of my schedule and all of the stresses, that Jesus doesn't just come out, but as the text says, he immediately comes out and gives us a presence. Because most of all, what I want in my life, when I am in trouble, when I am in pain, I want to know I'm not alone. I want God's presence, and that's what Jesus assures us this day. May you be assured that whatever boat you're in, even if you think it's starting to sink, the one who can lift you out of the depth of the water is the one who walks with you daily. Amen. That's getting back to the old Dennis.
I got that part too. Oh, shoot.
That's